I met him years ago, pretty much some of the reason why I'm still in the movement. He helped prevent me from burning out a couple of times. You know what I'm saying? He facilitated a lot of stuff throughout the country and been a mentor to a lot of us in the movement. So one more time, y'all, for Willie Baptist.
I was a part of the Homeless Union, and we organized upwards of 25 chapters in 25 states, and we carried out quite dramatic activities. And we were responsible for a lot of legislation that took place on various levels in terms of the right to vote for homeless people not having a place an address. We created major housing programs like the Dignity Housing Program in Philadelphia. We were able to put pressures and generate a kind of critical mass that was enough to have some pushback to get some results. But the thing that I think we have to learn from that experience is that despite all of that, we went into a period of demise. Our inexperience in terms of dealing with the problems of homelessness, which at that stage was the first time in the turn of the economy that homelessness ceased to be just a transient factor, it became a structural one. And it was one that was a product not just of individuals, of course, being that it's a structural one, it was a product of a crisis, deep and profound crisis that began to develop in the economy in this country and worldwide. And what we see today as a result of the 2007-2008 crises is a globalized crisis that is affecting everybody. And it is hurting people on a day-to-day basis. People are having to endure unemployment and foreclosure and homelessness for a great amount of time. And the key lesson that we learn from all that is we're going to deal with the complexity of the problem from the root to the branches, and we're going to deal with how we're going to sophisticatedly develop strategies on how we're going to actually end these problems, not just bullshit with them, end them. That we have to have a core of leaders and people who are committed to an understanding of what we're up against. And we got to have just as much sophistication as the forces that we're up against, because they're very sophisticated. You go into a fight, you understand what that fight is, what the weapons you need, but that understanding has to come to a certain sophistication, and that sophistication is something you have to build as part of your process. And that's the lesson I learned. You got to have a core leader. You got a core leader who commit to a process. You got organization. You got a way to win.
Tell you guys, when people lose their home, I don't care what color they are, they lose their home. They don't have no food. They're going to fight. The problem is that it's going to be an explosion, but whether the explosion is going to be an implosion or is it going to be one that's channeled in a constructive way. But you got to have leaders who are sophisticated to look at these problems like that.
I think in our experience with the Poverty Scholars Program, the Poverty Initiative, we've been able to reach out in all the different communities. And it's broken a lot of stereotypes, even in my thought process, because I came in, man, at a moment where I didn't trust no white folks, man. I was so deep in not trusting white folks, I didn't even wear white underwear. I wore black underwear. I was in the black conscious movement. It was like, my name is Basara Akili, I had an African name. Ain't no white folks person to tell me anything. And that was my concept, out of Watts. I thought all people, for a while there, I didn't think there was no other kind of people but black people living in Watts. But in our society, because of segregation and the kind of way it's used the race issues, and its basic strategy is to emphasize our differences. And so we're fighting in these different silos. We're even funded to fight in these different. We're not funded to fight together. We're funded to fight just this narrow issue, the whole funding strategy, corporate funding. But when we start trying to pull this thing together, what you're going to find is people who are hurting wanting to get together. That's what we're finding.